This is Spud here from HitStartNow.com, coming at you with another quick hit. Now, over the last week, I've finally gotten there. I've been looking to do this for quite some time now, and I've been building up towards it, and I've finally gotten there. I finally picked up my 200th PlayStation 2 game, and it's been a wild ride. I know about this time last year I was saying, should be doing it soon, should be getting there soon, but it's been a rough year financially, so it took a while to get there. But here I am, finally picked up my 200 PS2 game, and it is this very, very shiny steel case Resident Evil 4. And it's an absolute monster. Anybody who's played Resident Evil 4 should know that it changed the way we look at a lot of things about video gaming in general. It kind of brought in the over-the-shoulder cam. It played around with a lot of ideas that survival horror didn't. It mixed in action, yet still kept it edgy. It was very, very good. It's a great game. It's one that I should have had in my collection for a long, long time, but I've only gotten around to picking it up now. So, just for the hell of it, I'm going to go through a few of my favourite PlayStation 2 games. Now, I'm not going to lie, the PlayStation 2 is my all-time favourite console. I think this thing is an absolute beast. I cannot get enough PS2 games. I've currently got 200, and I'm still thinking, Jesus, I'd love to pick up fucking X and Y and this and that and the other, because I still don't have them, because there's just that many good games on the system. So I'm just going to give shout-outs to a few of my favourites here today on this quick hit. I know I did something similar last week with the PlayStation 1, because with the 20th anniversary of PlayStation 1, I threw a few shout-outs to a few of my favourite PS1 games. You can find that video linked below. But I'm going to do it with PS2 this time because I've wanted to for a fucking while, that's why. So we're going to start off, of course, we've already mentioned Resident Evil 4, which is a fantastic game. There is also the Prince of Persia Sands of Time trilogy. Now, anybody who's looking at this now and only knows the Prince of Persia from the movie, get your shit together, dog, and check out the Prince of Persia Sands of Time trilogy. It's absolutely amazing. It's platforming, 3D platforming at its finest. It really is. It's got a great little story wrapped around it about how the prince, in his own kind of ignorance, unleashed the Sands of Time, which he can use to reverse time, to freeze time, and do all sorts of other kind of tricks and traps with it. Then you mix that with a lot of wall running and instant platforming, and you've got yourself a game right there. The action is amazing. The platforming is amazing. The story is great. It's all about him trying to fight for redemption because these sands encase the entire kingdom and fuck it up and kill his family. And he's got to kind of strike back and fix everything. It's fantastic. You get to see him grow from this ignorant ass little kid to a real man and trying to sort his business out, while being followed by this guardian of time called the Tahaka. It's an absolutely fantastic set of games, and I couldn't recommend them more. Also, we've got Twisted Metal Black. Now, I'm a big fan of Twisted Metal. I have been since the original, back on PS1. I probably would have jumped in on Twisted Metal 2, but I also played a lot of the original. I kind of went back to it. Here in Ireland, we didn't get Twisted Metal 3 or 4, so Twisted Metal Black was the first one we got since World Tour, and it was amazing. An absolutely spectacular, fun game. It still had that kind of arcade action, and had that horrible kind of fucking darkness all around it. It's so gritty. It's just absolutely enveloped in darkness. It's really gritty, it's really harsh. One of the trucks has a moving corpse in the back of it the whole time with all sorts of weird shit hanging around the place. And it still plays with the same level of action and fun as it always did. It's an absolutely fantastic game. I love Twisted Metal Black. Moving on then for more kind of multiplayer fun, we have Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Now this is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most enjoyable Mortal Kombat game on PS2. Yeah, I like Daily Alliance. In fact, I love Daily Alliance. Deception is a bit of crack, and I'd even play Armageddon from time to time. But Shaolin Monks is incredible. It doesn't play like a Mortal Kombat game. It's not a one-on-one fighter. It's more to the effect of a 3D Streets of Rage, where you and your friend tag team against the evil fucking forces of Outworld. It's fantastic. One of you plays as Kung Lao, the other plays as Liu Kang, and you just go around beating up a bunch of Tarkatans and shit. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. It's all based around Mortal Kombat, say 1 and 2 from what I can recall. Yeah, it would be 1 and 2. And you've got to walk from the end of the first tournament, really, all the way up to the end of the second game and kind of beat your way through Outworld, through all those places you can see in the background of the game, like the Combat Tomb, the Living Forest, all those places, to get one up on Shao Kahn. It's absolutely fantastic fun. It plays brilliantly. If you can actually play through this with one of your mates, with one of your best friends, maybe throw in a couple of beers, spend the night playing it, if you can do that without laughing your ass off, I think it might be dead inside. Moving along quickly, we have Silent Hill 2, which needs no introduction, really. This is, without a doubt, in my mind, personally, my opinion, this is the scariest game ever made. Bar fucking none. Now, don't get me wrong, the original Dead Space came close. Very, very creepy. Corpse Party also gave me a real creepy vibe. I didn't enjoy playing through that so much, you know? But Silent Hill 2 has so much depth to the atmosphere. There's so much that you don't believe in. There's so much insecurity involved in playing through it that it brings fear up to a new level. It's absolutely terrifying. That one bit where Maria turns around and says she's not your Mary, terrifying. When she's screaming at you, telling you she's never been so scared in her life, that weird rape scene with Pyramid Head and those things with legs, it's the scariest game. And it still is now. Over 10 years later, and still fucking terrifying. But on a not so scary note, we have Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the finest soundtrack in video game history. It's based during the 80s, so everybody's got kind of roll-up sleeves and flowery shirts and shit. It's based in Florida, so it's really, really sunshiny. You know, it takes a lot of that Miami Vice kind of buzz going on, a lot of seasides and shit. And it throws you into this usual kind of crime simulator that you'd expect from Grand Theft Auto. And the Grand Theft Auto on PS2 in general as a series is fantastic. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, Liberty City Stories, and San Andreas, they were all fantastic. But Vice City had a certain magic that the others just didn't quite have. You know, it might have been down to the soundtrack, it might have been down to the 80s buzz that went around it. You know, it might have been down to the fact that now your character was a character, which in Grand Theft Auto 3, he wasn't. He just happened to be there. You know, so there was a lot going on for GTA Vice City, and it was an absolutely spectacular game. I actually replayed through it again there over the last couple of months for the first time in years, and it still played terrifically. It's still so much fun. What doesn't play terrifically is The Suffering on PS2, but it does enough to make up for the shabby gameplay. Now, I know the gameplay in The Suffering isn't great, but it's got everything else. It's got this huge story where you're this guy who's killed his family, who's got the beast living inside him, you're brought to a fucking prison island, which suddenly gets taken over by demons that could be of the island or could be in your own mind. It's impossible to say, and you gotta fight your way out with this lunatic doctor constantly analysing you in the background. He's like a ghost doctor. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's a game that doesn't get the respect that it deserves. The Suffering is a fantastic game. Sure, it's a bit dodgy now playing it as far as the shooting mechanics go. It's not spectacular, but everything else it has, it does brilliantly. Even the sequel, which was a better game, isn't as fucking good as the original Suffering. That could also be said about God of War, because there was no way God of War 2 beat the original God of War. God of War is one of my all-time favorites. Kratos is one of my all-time favorite characters. Just the ball of anger that is Kratos is phenomenal. The way he unleashes his rage in his moves, in his combat, how he maneuvers, everything about it. You know, he's so visceral, he's so violent, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, he kills guys to get ahead. He even kills good guys to get ahead so he can get back at the bad guys. You know, he's got this horrible history, and that just gets him more and more angry. He's like a tiny, incredible Hulk. And he's phenomenal, and I love God of War. The original God of War blew my mind. I didn't know what to do. I was that taken aback by it. It was a game that I really didn't think I'd be into. I saw the cover, I thought, it looks fucking silly. You know, I ended up playing it so much that I just couldn't get enough of it. I played through it in about 2 days straight. I barely slept. It was fantastic. One of the best games I've ever played. And while we're talking about dark shit though, Manhunt needs a shout out. Manhunt on PS2 is amazing. It's made by Rockstar, who you'll all know from Grand Theft Auto, from Max Payne, from Midnight Club, from Red Dead Redemption, so on and so forth. And Rockstar love a bit of controversy, and there are a few things I can think of that would be more controversial than making a game about creating snuff movies. And that's what Manhunt's all about, and it's sick as fuck, but it's really, really good, because the guy that you play in it, James Earl Cash, doesn't want to be making these movies. He's given an injection at the start of the game. He's a criminal. He's supposed to be getting a lethal injection to kill him. But instead, he's given this injection that sedates him. And he wakes up a little while later, and he's pretty much been sold off to this director of snuff movies, who ship him off to this place called Carcer City. And in Carcer, everybody's out to get him. All these other guys have been paid to hunt him down and beat him up in the most brutal ways possible to make a fucking movie. And he's got to fight back. He's the only one on his side. And everything's being filmed, so the more gruesome he makes it, the better the movie is. Well, it's a bizarre little game, but it's absolutely fantastic. The adrenaline pumping when you're hiding in the shadows, waiting for one of the war dogs to walk by so you can grab him, hack his head off with a machete. 2 swift slices takes that thing off, and you can hear him choking in his own blood. It's horrific. Absolutely horrific. He uses shards of glass when people die. He suffocates people with plastic bags. He does everything he has to escape, and it's one of the most harsh games you'll ever play. But it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And Need for Speed Underground 2 is a lot more lighthearted though, because it's got Exhibit on the soundtrack, and what more could a man want? This deserves a shout out because basically it's just a fantastic little racer. Probably my all-time favourite racing game. You know, I love racing games. I've always got a bit of a buzz for a good racer. It takes a lot to draw me into a racing game though, because I'm not a car guy. I'm not into cars at all. I'm not a kind of a petrol head kind of dude. You know, but Need for Speed Underground had a lot going on with it. Let me create and design my own cars and create my own logos and shit, and put them on the cars, and it gave me a lot of it gave the car a lot of personality. It gave me a lot of creativity, you know, and I could really express myself through this. And then I got to race the car as well, and make it faster and make it better, and race my fucking friends, and it was absolutely fantastic. SSX Tricky is also fantastic. I'm a big fan of extreme sports games. I'm currently playing the ball of Urban Trials, just a demo, on 3DS. I love extreme sports games. I always have. And this is one of the better ones. You know, this took me from the likes of Cool Borders and the likes of Tony Hawk and threw me up to a whole new level with uber tricks and fantastically fast courses. And a bunch of different boards to choose from, a bunch of different characters with different styles to put on those boards. I just had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun. I'd still throw it on today and play the shit out of it. It's really good. The PS3 edition also deserves a mention because it was class. I absolutely love SSX Tricky. I love snowboarding. It's great fun. I don't do it in real life, but in video games, I love it. I do it all day. Finally, for PS2, and like I said, this is my favourite console. I know I'm waffling on a bit. I know I'm dragging it on, but I love the PlayStation 2. I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic system. It's got everything. Absolutely everything. Including Devil May Cry 3. This is the best action game ever made. Bar none. If you disagree, cool. Tell me in the comments. Let me know. Because I'd love to know what a better hack-and-slash game than Devil May Cry 3. Because I want to fucking play it if there is one. This is the finest one I've played. The controls are tight. It's fun to play. The combos are amazing. The different styles you can switch between gives you a lot of kind of leeway depending on which kind of player you are. Are you defensive? Are you a maneuverer? Are you an aggressive player? You've got everything in there. No matter which way you want to play, you've got a style for you. Personally, I like trick stuff because I like to be fast on my toes. That's how I play. It's got a great story. It says a lot more about family values than a hell of a lot of fucking other things do. You know, which is weird because from the outside looking in, it really doesn't look like it. How could it? It's a game where you skateboard around on the back of enemies while shooting other enemies. Surely I couldn't have much to say about family values. It does. It's amazing. Story, action, graphics, the fucking sound, the characters, everything. Absolutely everything. It's a phenomenal game from start to finish. I love Devil May Cry 3. And like I said, I just love the PlayStation 2. I really do. It's got everything I've ever wanted on a system, and I can still see myself collecting for it another 10 years down the line. I want to give a couple of honorary shout-outs to Guitar Hero, to the Tony Hawk series, to Bloody Roar 3, to Buzz, the Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain games, Mashed, Fully Loaded, Spider-Man 2, the list goes on and on and on and on. There are just so many good games on the system that I really, really can't get enough of it. So, what can I say? I just love the PlayStation 2. I want to take my hat off to the PlayStation 2. If there are any PlayStation 2 games that you think I should have mentioned here, and I didn't, let me know. Hit me up down below. What are your personal favourites? I want to throw Primal in there as well, because it's amazing. I could go on all day. What are your personal favourites? Stop me. Let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Now, this is going to be the last quick hit before Christmas. So, I'll be back in the new year with more of the same. Until that, you can check us out on Facebook. Facebook.com/HitStartNow. You can get us at hit_start_now on Twitter. Same thing on Twitch. Of course, you can also check us out on hitstartnow.com. So, until next year, have yourself a good Christmas and play lots and lots of PlayStation 2. This is Spud from hitstartnow.com, signing off. Good luck.